Have you ever heard the saying that steel sharpens steel? Beyond the literal meaning that steel actually does sharpen steel, it's used to say that adversity makes us stronger. We're living in times of adversity, right? We're living in times when there are a lot of things happening, and a lot of things that appear to be happening, right? It's hard to tell the difference these days. It's like living in one giant world full of funhouse mirrors. It's hard to tell what's real and what isn't. But there's a lot of uncertainty, and there's a lot of things that are happening, and our lives, the world around us is changing in ways that we can't control. And it creates a lot of uncertainty and a lot of anxiety. But in that is a lot of opportunity. I believe that the goals that we pursue in life matter a great deal, whether they be financial, physical, relationship, personal goals, personal development goals, whatever they are. They matter greatly, but they're ultimately means to an end. By which I mean that I think really the ultimate reason why we're here is to be the best expressions of ourselves. And I don't mean that in a shallow way. I mean to achieve true self-mastery at the deepest level, which I think is something that very few of us can do, and something I pray that I can do before I pass from this world. Because I think that's really what it's all about. I think that's the whole enchilada when it comes down to it. Our worldly goals are very important, but ultimately they're means to cultivate and shape our character and our spirit, and to be the best and fullest expressions of ourselves. And a huge part of that is overcoming our habitual, programmed, triggered responses to stimulus. It's mastering our emotions and ourselves so that we can deal with adversity and not let it shake the core of who we are. You know, there's a book titled Man's Search for Meaning by a guy named Viktor Frankl. It's an amazing book. It's one of the most amazing books I've ever read. And I'm not alone in saying that. Many people out there, just look up Man's Search for Meaning, Viktor Frankl. You'll find all kinds of people that say the book changed their lives. Frankl lived in a concentration camp, and he got to see how people reacted, how he reacted under those horrific conditions. And there was one character that he discussed in there that I'll never forget. She's mentioned somewhat briefly, if I recall. It's been a while since I read the book. But she tells Victor that all of her life, she has always admired stories of people that went to their death with their head held high, bravely and confidently, and didn't buckle under the circumstances. And that woman always really touched me personally, because I thought, what a beautiful thing to aspire to. What a brave thing to aspire to. And ultimately, in many ways, I kind of think like it's the summation of all of our aspirations, because that's the end, right? We carry who we are into that last goodbye and into the next whatever is next, right? We carry our character and our integrity and all of the things that we have cultivated from ourselves into into death, into the next stage. And that really inspired me. And I think about that woman a lot these days now, with all of these difficult things happening. And I just think that we live in a time that is a great opportunity, if you look at it from the perspective that we are really here. Everything else is just kind of an ornament. It's kind of a cherry on top of the sundae. Really, we're here to be the best expressions of ourselves. And to be the best expressions of ourselves, we need to suffer adversity. We need to have challenges, right? You can't know how good of a competitor you are unless you compete. And so in this time of shifting reality, when a world of funhouse mirrors, and it's hard to tell what's real and what's not, and there's so much uncertainty and all of this fear, it's an incredible opportunity to shape and cultivate ourselves and to become the best expressions of ourselves. And if we make the choice to look at it that way, then all of the things that make us angry and afraid, they become opportunities, right? And I mean this in a literal sense. If you start to practice this kind of self-mastery, which really is more of like a self-study, because you have to study yourself and find your triggers and find your weaknesses and find the things that you react to in a way that makes you acting unconsciously, right? I mean, and this isn't anything that I'm inventing. I mean, this is like the core of so many the bulk of spiritual ideas, right? There's a lot of stuff that might get to the core of there's a lot of differences in the specifics, but at the core of just about every tradition I've come across is this idea that there is the ego, which is a false self. The ego is this false self of who we are. Underneath that is our core, our real self. And that ego self is full of habitual responses to things, and freedom in this life, and happiness in this life, and joy in this life is freeing ourselves from those things. But to do that, you can't just ignore them. It doesn't work that way. You have to go into them. You have to stare them straight in the face. You have to learn their ways and their methods and find ways to circumvent them, to overcome them. And I'm definitely not going to try to get any specifics of the methods that I've tried here, or that men and women much better than I have used. This is more of just me wanting to say, in all of the uncertainty and fear and the anger that is floating around right now, is a great opportunity to hone ourselves into the best expressions of ourselves. If we can learn to continue with joy, discipline, and dignity, even amidst all of the uncertainty and fear, it's going to make us much stronger, much more powerful people, right? And these are unprecedented times, and there's been times much more challenging than this in human history, but they're unprecedented to me in the sense that you can't really tell it's really hard to tell what's actually happening. There's all these narratives coming at us, all of these perspectives. There's so much information out there. It's easy to get lost in it. And in that sense, it's a new kind of minefield that we're finding our way through, and we're learning how to manage. And in that, like I said, it's a great opportunity. And I don't want to keep repeating myself, so I'm going to stop right now. I just wanted to share that. And the perspective helps me practice these things, and helps me use this adversity to become a better person, as opposed to letting it drown me and suffocate me. And so I just wanted to share that, and that's about it. Peace out, my friends. Keep your eyes fixed on your goals and fixed on the light. Look for the positive, not in a trite and shallow sense, in a meaningful and powerful sense. All right, peace out, my friends.